Shalom and welcome back to Flipping Pages, Stirring Sauces. If it is your first time, welcome. And tawada and gratitude to those of you who have liked, shared, subscribed, and commented. It has been a while, but life sometimes get in the way. I got up at 4 a.m. yesterday to do this video, but life got in the way, and so I'm here again today to do this video. And so I'm gonna jump right into it. That was my alarm going off. Some time ago, I had a conversation with my sister Denise. And during that conversation, she told me that she wasn't going to spend any of the money that my father had left her on frivolous items, and that she wasn't going to poop any of it out. She used a more graphic word because she knew how hard he had sweated for it. And that conversation stayed with me. And every so often, I would bounce it around in my head. And there came a time in my life when I was at a very low point, probably one of the lowest points in my life. And I had been in court one day. I was battling the Canadian court system over a traffic ticket that was illegal. It was a ticket that was issued based on a red light camera violation 2 years previously. I was charged under the Highway Traffic Act. Now, my constitutional right to a speedy trial was violated, and they couldn't provide a person to which I had caused harm. And I was not driving on a highway. The vehicle was traveling on a municipal road, and the person behind the red light camera who had issued the ticket was not present in court. In spite of all these violations on the part of the Canadian court system and my objection to being prosecuted, the corrupt prosecutor and equally corrupt judge forged ahead, prosecuting me. I had made up my mind that no matter what they did that day, they were not going to get a penny out of me. As usual, in our discriminatory court system, I was found guilty, even though they had no proof that I was the one who was operating the vehicle. They added surcharges and other amounts. One of those surcharges was a victim amount. They couldn't provide the victim, but yet they expected me to pay a surcharge as a victim charge. When the judge questioned me about payment, I told her that I wasn't going to be able to pay any of it because there was only $6 in my bank account. So her final judgment was no payment required due to financial hardships. Later that afternoon, I received a phone call from a friend who I had not seen or spoken to in a little while. He genuinely wanted to know how I was doing. Naturally, I just started telling him about my experience earlier that day with the court system. Given the type of relationship that we had, I spoke without filters. At the end of me telling him about my experience, he asked, So was that true? I said, so was what true? And he said about only having $6 in my bank account. I admitted that it was true. And he said, I will do something for you by the end of the day. True to his word, by the end of the day, he had deposited some money in my account. Seeing the money in my account, I started feeling a little embarrassed and started wondering, how the heck did I get here? I didn't do anything wrong. I had basically stood up for my rights as a person to not be assaulted. And as a result of that decision, my finances went into a downhill spiral. But while I was there beating myself up, I heard, stop beating yourself up. He did what he did because he knew that you would never ask. And he did it from his heart. Most people go through a point like this in their lives. A feeling of gratitude washed over me because I knew that I would not have been as open about my situation with anyone else. And I knew that I was not asking for the money. I was genuinely just telling him about my morning because he cared enough to inquire. The conversation that I'd had with my sister Denise was paramount in my memory. And I understood then why she had made the decision that she had made and why she had made the statement that she had made. And I resolved not to waste a penny of the money that was given to me. I was going to spend it on my needs, not my wants. As such, I was very careful about how I utilized the money because I knew how hard he had worked for his money. It is amazing how far you can stretch a few dollars when you're careful about how, where, and what you spend it on. LLW, my gratitude to you for your kindness and your generosity, and the same to my sister Denise. I said all of that to say this. Babylon has been taking their bucket to Africa's well for almost 1,000 years. And they plan their economics based on Africa's wealth and natural resources. Their long-term goals are based on stealing from Africa or manipulating weak African leaders into turning over their wealth to them. Then enters President Traore, President Goita, and President Chiani, who they refer to as juntas. And that is wrong on every level. These three brave presidents have stated and indicated that Africa's wealth is for Africans. No more will Babylon freely draw from Africa's wells. For many years, France has been spending Africa's money frivolously and profiting off of the backs of Africans, lending their own money to them at an alarmingly high interest rate. Now that a stop is being put to that situation, Babylon, They're plotting and planning the demise of these brave revolutionaries. Babylon better hope that these brave young men die peacefully in their sleep of natural causes as very old men. You see, these men are loved by melanated nations and people around the world. And if Babylon hurts a hair on their heads, on the head of one of them, their worst nightmare will be realized, because it will cause melanated people around the world to rise up against them and unite. One Babylon nation has already declared bankruptcy, and many more will follow. See, they should have been more careful about how they spent other people's money. And they should have expressed their gratitude for the rerun, for the free run that they had. I guess the bucket bottom has fallen out, and these brave young African leaders are just getting started, and they are not playing. Ingratitude is a hell of a thing. Be careful how you spend other people's money, and if someone gives you $1, be grateful for it. You do not know how hard the person may have sweated for it, and they thought enough of you to give it to you. I'm going to leave it there for today. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Shout out to the twins, Titi and Titi, and give Tina a hug and a squeeze for me. Until next time, I give you my ahab. I give you my peace. Shalom. Mwah.